Good evening, I'm your host Jack Remington of the Jack Remington NFL channel. Welcome back. Let's do a small quick recap. Both our survivor picks advanced last week. All four of our two team teasers cashed. And the Soup Simulator, what I call the SUPE Soup Simulator, is the Las Vegas Hilton Super Contest Simulator on pregame.com, hosted by Fish Zang. We went 5-0, a total sweep on the first entry, and we have a second entry. We went 4-1, and I'll put the screenshot up here where I even put in parentheses that I should have my head examined for this one pick. Put me in a straitjacket and throw me in a women's prison. And it was kind of like a tongue-in-cheek joke, but it was true. That was the one pick that I lost on the second card, and it took a penalty on a 2-point conversion for me to lose that bet. So we'll go over that later. It's hard to sweep going 5-0 and on the second ticket going 4-1. So my expectations are still high, but I'm also a realist. It is going to be impossible to go 5-0 every week. You're going to get some games wrong. And if you don't understand that in this business, stop watching this video, turn me off, watch some cat and dog videos, and have a good day. Having said that, let's get to this week's picks. We have two entries in the survivor pool. So our first entry is we're taking the Buffalo Bills just to win the game against the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders won their game last week. They beat the Broncos in a mild upset, but it's a division rivalry. But the Buffalo Bills, they lost, and we had them losing because we had our Jets on our main card last week. So I needed the Jets, and they won. The Bills are going to come back. Don't listen to the pundits. Oh, Josh Allen had played so bad. He had 4 turnovers. It's only twice in his career he's done this. So the odds are extremely high in your favor that Josh Allen's not going to play like that this week. I think Buffalo is going to just destroy the Raiders. Second entry, we like the New York Giants. And I know it's early in the season. Giants got sloggered 40-0 at home by the Cowboys. The Cowboys look like one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the NFL this year. I'm not surprised. We're not surprised. But this week we're looking for them to bounce back, and they're at Arizona Cardinals, who I have as the worst team in the NFL. Only won 2-team teaser this week. And you're thinking, well, you did 4-0 last week with your teasers. Let's 4 and 5 more. Last year I used to do 7 and 8 teasers. But guess what? Money management is the number one skill you must have in this business. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how bad you are. I don't care if you're run-of-the-mill, wasting your time. If you don't have money management, discipline, and control, you have no shot in this business or as well as any other business. That is the number one skill you must master. Money management. I know a lot of you click off this video when you hear that, but click it off. And I'm going to say it one more time. It is the hardest game to beat out of all the sports books. I don't care about this baseball run line. I don't care about basketball. I don't care about soccer. Just pick the winner. The NFL is the ultimate mountain to climb. The NFL is the hardest, toughest handicapping sport in the sports book, and these casinos know that. And I'm going to quote my father one more time. Quote, "Casinos don't make many mistakes." End of quote. Only one 2-team teaser this week, and I'll put that out there right now. But next year I'll be switching books to get better juice odds, because we like the Ravens plus 10, and we like the Jets plus 16. And it's a 6.5-point teaser, laying on $1.25 juice. I'm only going to do the one teaser this week. I don't care if we win or lose. I mean, I care. But again, my expectations are not high. It's pretty hard to go 5-0 2 weeks in a row and 4-0 on your teasers and everything else. So, pick number 1, home underdog, Tennessee Titans. We're taking the Tennessee Titans plus the 3 points, hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. So, Titans head coach Mike Vrabel, I think I've been seeing some things and hearing some things that he might be on the hot seat, as he has now lost his last 8 regular season games going back to last year. For some unexplicable reason, watching that game last week, they stopped running Derrick Henry. He was doing so well in the first half, but they stopped running him in the third quarter. I didn't understand that too much. And Henry didn't even get 100 yards. He got 64, 65 yards. The people are asking questions. What happened here? This team, the Tennessee Titans, they were the number 1 seed in 2021 and for most of 2022 before the 7-game skid to end last season. The Chargers, they are the ultimate one-dimensional, popular, trendy, fan-based team with quarterback Justin Herbert, who everybody loves. I love him too. But what else do they have? Okay, a banged-up quarterback that's questionable, looking for the Titans to get a quick lead and pound Derrick Henry into that bad Chargers defense. If the Titans can get the what we call the wire-to-wire lead with this against the Chargers, scoring a touchdown first or getting up 10-0 quickly in the first quarter, and this team has a good chance of avoiding a shootout and catching a field goal to boot. Mike Vrabel is probably the better coach than the inconsistent Staley of the Bolts, but the Bolts have a great passing game and they can win any shootout. I mean, the Chargers are a dangerous team. I just saw Steve Merrill, I saw a couple other guys, but particularly Steve Merrill's an excellent handicapper. Watch his channel. I highly recommend it. He came up with a stat that 1989, the team that has over 200 yards rushing, which the Chargers did, over 200 yards passing, which the Chargers did, +2 margin in the turnover department. That team was 165-1 since the year 1989. I mean, 165 wins and 1 loss. But guess what? The Chargers managed to get that second loss. They're the second team in NFL history to do that. So that's not saying a whole lot. There's something wrong with the Chargers team, and as much talent as they have on offense, there's something wrong with this team. I'm gambling that Vrabel can right the ship and get a razor-thin cover like he did last week. I got lucky with the cover against the Saints. I just want to talk really quickly about that. The Saints blocked a punt on them. I mean, and the decision late in the game for the Titans to kick the field goal to cut it from 16-12 to 16-15, that was good for me. I had the Titans +3, and I appreciate that razor-thin win. I feel I got lucky, I understand. But Titans defense couldn't get a stop against the Saints when the Saints got the ball back. That's concerning. Maybe the Titans are no longer going to be that #1 seed. So if they get shonkered here, it's going to be a hard time for me backing them for the rest of the year. So I'm thinking long term as well as short term. Vrabel's a great coach. He's a Bill Belichick disciple. I understand all that, and I've talked about that before. But I just think that the Titans are just going to be run-of-the-mill average team. Depending on how they do against a high-octane team like the Chargers, it's going to depend on how we should look at them moving forward. But we're going to take the Titans +3 and take our chances here. Pick number 2, the Green Bay Packers -1 at the Falcons. We're taking the Green Bay Packers again. We took them last week. Okay, even the handicappers who are far more known to me and more experienced than me are all over the Falcons. They are bashing the Packers quarterback Jordan Love, betting against his outstanding 3rd and 4th down passing stats of last week, which is amazing. But they are betting that Jordan Love can't do it again. And these same handicappers, they won't bet against that 1960s retrograde pretend quarterback Desmond Ridder. If you think Falcons quarterback Desmond Ridder is better than Jordan Love, I will book your action myself, and I won't need to go to the bank to build a bankroll. Okay, this game is only Ridder's 6th ever NFL start. I think Jordan Love's got more experience. The only caution I have here is the buzz, trying to rebuild and rebrand Arthur Blanks, the owners of the Falcons. They've never won a Super Bowl, only been there twice, and I've cut my bet in half about 8 years ago when Tom Brady got them around that time. I was afraid of the Falcons getting a benching of a great Pats player on D to allow Matty Ryan to flourish in that game. But that would come the next year when Belichick benched cornerback Malcolm Butler for an undisclosed reason so the Eagles could get their first Lombardi trophy, and I remember that. Both quarterbacks almost 600 yards passing. Nick Foles turned into the world beater, and they made Tom Brady look ordinary with a minute to go. But we're going to take the Packers. A lot of buzz about the Falcons. I don't think it's justified. What do they know that we don't know? Well, we're going to find out. I'm going to walk the plank with the Packers. Well, I think it's got the better coach, and I just think they got the better personnel from top to bottom. Pick number 3, Houston Texans +1 hosting the Indianapolis Colts. The past few years, the Colts have owned the Texans. Okay, but last year they pulled the Thomas Hearns rematch with Sugar Ray Leonard with that draw fight. At least Hearns got that monkey off his back about the equality of those two outstanding boxers. Forgive me for using a boxing metaphor, but let's face it, boxing is ultimate meritocracy sport, and the NFL is a meritocracy too. The best almost always win. Yes, there is more buzz surrounding the Colts quarterback Richardson, and he's on the injury list. Okay, I think the Texans D can stop him the same way he slowed down Lamar Jackson against the Ravens last week. Yes, one rookie quarterback and one rookie head coach will get their first win this week. And I'm going to go with the Texans with a better defense. And I think DeMarco Ryans is actually the better coach. It's just my opinion. Don't have much sample size to go on. Don't have much to go on with that. I just think my instincts are telling me that DeMarco Ryans is a better coach, and I think he wants it more. A free tip here: follow your instincts. The Colts are the fashionable team, and they like the Colts. No one likes the Texans. We know it. That's all the more reason to take the Texans because they're not happy. they want to be noticed too. Pick number 4: Detroit Lions at home hosting the Seattle Seahawks, but we're spotting them 5.5 points. I normally don't like to spot points. I'm an underdog better. But in this spot, I'm gonna take a chance here. These are two teams moving in two completely different directions. The Seahawks do have savant head coach Pete Carroll, and he is worth 7 points every game, just like French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte was worth 40,000 soldiers that terrorized Europe and Africa during his 18-year military supremacy in the late 18th century. By the way, the Napoleon movie is out September 22nd, and I'm even taking off to work to see it. Back to the present times. The expectations that have risen for the Lions at home, and they just edged the Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs, 21-20 in the game we had on our pregame.com monitored picks last week. We did have that game, but that 4th and 25 late in the game, it almost worked. I mean, the guy, he almost caught that ball, and that changed the game. But they were going to kick the field goal to win the game. I don't think they scored a touchdown, but it's possible. But the Chiefs are still a dangerous team, although hobbled with key injuries and that Chris Jones holdout. Even if Mahomes makes the field goal, the Lions still would have covered that 4.5 points, which is all we really care about in the end. But the Seahawks overachieved last year, in my opinion. And this year, Geno Smith turns back into the pumpkin he always was. And Pete Carroll needs to start looking for another field general. And Geno Smith is Geno Smith is the comparable comparison. Geno Smith I'm comparing him with Napoleon Bonaparte's General Ney, who cost Napoleon Waterloo in 1815. Okay, this is my last time travel, I promise. The Rams showed teams how to play the Seahawks, who did squat the entire second half of that game. I think they only got 12 yards in the entire second half. And I think Rams got all their sacks the second half too. I'll check on that. But the Lions have a somewhat better D than the past years going by. So I expect the Detroit Lions to get to Geno Smith. The Seattle defense versus the Lions, I think the Lions' offensive line is a top 3 NFL unit, if not the top offensive line in the NFL right now. And quarterback Jared Goff is underrated and is a far better quarterback than Geno Smith, and he has something to prove. He's got a chip on his shoulder. I thought Goff was pretty impressive. The crowd at Ford Field will electrify their good players, and the Lions are going to love it. This is going to be a great game for the hometown Detroit Lions. I mean, this is what they've been waiting for what, forever. I'm laying the 5.5 points. The Lions are chalk here. Big fighter versus a little fighter. They keep saying, well, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Well, guess what? The bigger they are, the harder they punch. So I'm taking the Detroit Lions and Jared Goff. He's going to slice and dice that Seattle defense, and they're going to go running away in the second half. And pick number 5, the Cleveland Browns, -2.5 chalk, road chalk at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Another popular, trendy home underdog team. Again, like the Packers-Falcons game, everyone and anyone who has a name in this handicapping world is pushing the Steelers. They like head coach Mike Tomlin. They like the quarterback Pickett. They like most of their players. Steeler fans are among the best fans in the NFL and are extremely loyal, an admirable trait that even I respect and defend. I used to be a Steelers fan too back in the day. However, this up-and-coming team, the Browns, are a true contender for the AFC North crown, and in my opinion, they're a Super Bowl contender. That defensive front four might be the best in the NFL, and you saw what they did to Joe Burrow of the Bengals last week. The Browns D held the Bengals to 6 first downs, the best performance of the 16 games last week. I know that the Cowboys shut out the Giants, I understand that, but in my opinion, this was the better performance. The Browns destroying the Bengals last week, holding to just a field goal. Now, the Browns are on the road to another hostile place to play. Can the Browns do this again? I say yes, and they will bring the Steel to an 0-2 start. There are several 0-2 teams every NFL season. The Steelers are without defensive end Hayward, and I think that helps the Browns tremendously. That's a key injury for the Steelers. So stay tuned for the next video for part 2 for our entry number 2 for the Super Simulator. Thank you, and enjoy the video, and most importantly, stay within your means and enjoy the games. Thank you.